So guys, the kind of threat Obi have received is enough for him to retire and to quit politics, and he said that he's going to run it to the end. And people like Kwankwaso and Atiku have come out to give warning to the Apc government. Here he said that Kwankwaso demands protection for P2B and due process for El-Rufai. The same person said that I and P2B will unite Nigeria, rebuild its economy, restore hope, and ensure lasting prosperity for all Nigerians through purposeful leadership. Because you know that the APC's plan now is to move that P2B wants to divide Nigeria. This is where the APC government are going, and this is the same route they follow to arrest Nnamdi Kanu from Kenya. That Nnamdi Kanu wants to divide Nigeria. Now they're coming with the same agenda that P2B wants to divide Nigeria, and now Paul came out and said that I and P2B will unite Nigeria. That means P2B is not even on the verge of dividing this country. P2B wants this country to be united. These have been what P2B have been saying, that I will unite Nigeria. This is what he believes. And also, the Kwankwaso movement have come out to blast Ali Momodu Sheriff, because he came out, he was the one that was saying that P2B wants to divide Nigeria and that the North will not vote P2B. And he says that Ali Modu Sheriff's remark about P2B do not reflect the views of northern voters. The North will vote for P2B and Rabbi Kwankwaso. Kwankwaso rejects Ali Modu Sheriff's recent statement. The North will vote for P2B and Kwankwaso, and this is why the APC government are so scared of P2B and NDC. They want everything possible to frustrate this party and to frustrate P2B. And thank God that P2B is a man that will promise us that he's going to be on the ballot. And here say that nothing must happen to an opposition leader. Elvis Elimihele called out FG over Obi's latest revelation, because Obi came out and said that he might not be alive in the next election. Tell me, that means that this man have received numerous threats for him to come out and say that he might not be alive in the next election. And here also says P2B shouldn't have to go through this simply because he wants to lead Nigeria. Coming from Nollywood actor Stan Nze, P2B should not go through any of this just because he wants the betterment of Nigeria. But those in the APC government knows that if Obi eventually comes to power, that many of them will be sacked, arrested, and detained. So they are scared of that movement. They want to end it before next election. Let me get your views as we watch this video for you guys. I'll see you guys in my next video.
May not be a candidate based on how.
Not even a candidate. I might not even be alive. I'm telling you, every single thing I do for a living, this government is frustrating it. Deliberately so.
You know, I saw this video yesterday and it really broke me. It did things to me that I cannot even express. No one should be made to go through these things because they want to lead. Simply because they want to lead and see Nigeria be better. I was asking myself yesterday, why am I doing this? What do I really want for this country? What do I really want for Nigeria? I can sit back and just say, oh, it don't really concern me. I can afford my house rent. I can afford a power bill. I can afford to travel. Oh, I can even afford not to vote. When January reach, I will just go somewhere. When I don't vote finish, I will come back. But that's not what it is for me. I want to see a better Nigeria. I was thinking, okay, why does it have to be P2B? It doesn't have to be P2B, to be honest. I'm not looking for P2B. I'm not looking for tribe. I'm not looking for Igbo. What I'm looking for is a person that would do the right thing. The person that would carry Nigeria in their heart and lead them forward. Not one step forward and 10 steps backwards. And it got me thinking. I used to support Fela Dorotoye when he used to come out for presidency. And it was not because of his tribe. It was because of his personality, who he was, and his vision for this country. And I haven't seen anybody that's been able to do that as much as PO has. I want a better Nigeria. That's what I'm crying for. I want people that will make leadership decisions that would favor the entire country, not just a certain tribe. Because the truth about it is, when they flood Lagos, not be only Igbo they flood though. Everybody join the Igbo outside Yoruba. When insurgency starts, it's everybody. When the kidnapping starts, it's everybody. They don't ask you what's your tribe. So this is not a tribal war. This is a call for change, for genuine change. A call to end bad governance. Let's just have people in governance that feel what the people feel. I don't want this to be a long video. Guys, everybody, let us put hand. They have extended INEC PVC's registration. If you want to get your PVC, it's been extended by over 2 weeks now. It ends on the 26th of July. Please don't say it's frustrating you. From start to finish, you can start the process on the INEC portal. I'll put the link in my bio. Go to the link in my bio. Start your process. If you need to move your PVC to somewhere a little closer to you, please do it. Do what you must, but don't be counted. Don't be left out this season. God bless Nigeria.
Don't you think that we should be more concerned as regards to his life? Because for Obi to actually mention such a word, now a genuine security concern now, for Obi to say, oh, this is what I'm telling my supporters, this is what I'm telling Nigeria, what does it mean for Nigeria's democracy? When a strong contender, a strong opposition, a party candidate, is coming out to say, my life, is in danger, being afraid of their life, don't you think it speaks, louder than what we thought here?
Savior, that is the reason why we should be calling on the government of the day. The purpose of governance is to secure you and I's life, not just Peter Obi alone, and give us good life to live. If the government is failing in that responsibility, and it's sworn to an oath that this is a constitutional mandate, if it's failing, it's not even Obi alone that will be calling on them. Nigerians must join Peter Obi to call on the government of the day. Nothing must happen to an opposition leader. Because democracy is all about choice. We are not running a one-party state. So if you are threatening, or the life of opposition leaders are being threatened, that means you are streamlining Nigerians' opportunity to have more choices to choose their leaders from. So Obi's cry is not just Obi's responsibility alone. It's for all Nigerians to join hands and to lend their voices to it that opposition must have their rights, because opposition are Nigerians, and Nigerians deserve that right to choose the leader they so desire. It's not just Obi's voice alone that must be heard in this matter if his life is threatened.
Dan Allah, let me ask a question. Why is it that some people in Ogo keep quiet their mouth? Because Nigeria is a country where any Jake and Harry will just come out and talk nonsense. Dan Allah, why won't you allow the sleeping dog make a lie? One governor was Northeast before, where in name Namudu Sharif. You come out today and don't know somebody where he go talk to. Is they talk nonsense to? Is they talk to Peter Obi? By comparison, Peter Obi is he your mate when it comes to development? Have you ever had any crisis about Peter Obi? Even when he be governor? Can you compare your antecedent with Peter Obi while he was a governor? When you are a governor in Borno State, what did they do? What did he do? We will know history, pa. We know the advent of so many things, pa. Go back a minute. We no one talking. As we no one talking, then Allah let sleeping dog lie. Go and ask for question, Modu Sharif. You see this Peter Obi, many people will find in trouble. I know where they day today, because he has the grace. You are saying that Peter Obi will come and divide Nigeria. Have you ever heard Peter Obi talk about division? It is you that is associated to crisis, allegedly. Go back a minute. Even the defamation, the scattering of PDP today, we know history. Pa. During your time as the chairman of PDP, we people go to court, you almost destroyed the party. Up to now, since you be party chairman, up to now, PDP it never stand. Although I know they like to call the name of this party, but I have to face some reality sometime. Dan Allah Mudu Sharif, Dan Allah leave Peter Obi alone. Peter Obi is not your problem. By all standard, educationally, in every aspect, business, in everything, wallahi. Okay, when you come to policy and governance, leadership principle, When it comes to every aspect of life, Peter Obi is not your mate. And Peter Obi has never come out to say any bad thing about you. Then Allah leave him alone. You know one thing? I come to realize that some people they just want relevance. Mudu Sharif, go and relax, mana. For a long time we have not had you. You want relevance now. What can concern you with Peter Obi than Allah? Yeah? If by standard Mawalai, there are some people that have caused more harm to this country. They are not supposed to be talking. Those people are supposed to be incarcerated for 1 or 2 days. But let me tell you for something. You think you are alive and things are going on well with you, but there is karma. There is karma. The harm that you people have done to this country, wallahi, you will pay for it. You will pay for it. So, dan Allah is an advice. Dan Allah Senator Mudu Sharif. Dan Allah leave Peter Obi alone. Because that Peter Obi, where is the insult? You are trying to incite crisis in Nigeria. And Nigeria is developing. Go and check all parts of the world. Nobody is doing inciting statement like this. Say Peter Obi will come and divide Nigeria. So, but Allah, what kind of statement is that? Dan Allah, I have respect for you. Dan Allah, I don't want you to have audacity of talking to Peter Obi or anybody whatsoever. Peter Obi, Kwankwaso is the answer for development. Go back about and no be to scatter. We'll know history. Wallahi, if you continue, wallahi, we'll go bring history. Then we'll go know between you and Peter Obi who is developmental.
Fellow Nigerians, in the last couple of days when my video went viral, and of course it didn't go viral because what I said was that, entertaining, so to say. It went viral because it is a representation of the frustration of Nigerians. Nigerians are extremely very tired of bad governance. Since 2015, most especially. I have received threats, death threats, and all manner of warnings from everywhere. But I'm not backing down. And Nigerians, today, I'll share with you my story. And that's the major reason why I am not backing down. I was born when Muhammadu Buhari was the head of state of Nigeria. March 29, 1985. About 5 months after, on August 27, 1985, Babangida took over. He took up the title of the president and was the military president of Nigeria. My father was a soldier, so I grew up in the barracks. And I understood what it meant to be ruled by the military because I was living in the barracks. Something happened between my dad and my mom, and they broke up when I was just 4 years old. I didn't get to see my mother until I was 34. All my life, I've grown up on the streets. And I'll tell you why. Because in 1991, my father's name was drafted amongst the soldiers going for peacekeeping. And in 1992, he left. And for him leaving, he knew that he could die at war. That's in Liberia and Sierra Leone. So he brought myself and my older brother to live with my grandmother, who was at the time very old. We were about 26 of us grandchildren living in my grandmother's place. I came from a background that exposed me as a child to all manner of social vices. And at the age of 8, I started begging for food and for money so that I could survive. In 1995, I had begged for 3 years at the age of 10. Just by a whisker, my father was shot in Sierra Leone. Then you remember the letter we sent to him in 1994 to the military that were going there. And that was how he was able to send us money, with which I was put into secondary school, with no hope of a second-term school fees to be paid. I remember my uncle trying to tell me not to waste that money, not to allow the family to waste the money, that I should just continue learning mechanic that I was learning, I was learning how to repair generator. And I said to him, no, sir, I want to go to school. He now said, but what if we are unable to pay your school fees? Because I can assure you we cannot. I told him, at least my father went to primary school. When he dropped out of primary school, I will be able to tell my children that I went to secondary school a step further than my father. And I said to him that if they were unable to pay my school fees, I would gladly drop out, then come back and happily learn the mechanic. But of course, I would have fulfilled my mission of breaking my father's record of being in secondary school. Of course, the suffering didn't stop. My family, they were not bad people. They were just poor people. There were no systems that could help them to become successful. They were very hardworking. My uncles, my aunties, they were very hardworking people, but they just couldn't help it. They had a lot of children and they were also managing. So I was left as a child scavenging for survival. And that's why I still love them till tomorrow. Because the suffering I went through was not by their own making, because they were also suffering, going by their living standards. And of course, in 1996, when I was just 11 years old, I was begging on the street when one of the college students who I begged for insulted me and called me a nuisance. And of course, I said, I am not a nuisance. You cannot call me a nuisance. I know what nuisance means. And that was the beginning of what led to the transformation of my life. He was so shocked that I could speak English. So it took me on a bike, 1996. He took me to a youth center and he said, please do not beg on the street anymore. You could be corrupted. For an 11-year-old boy like you that could speak this well, it shows that you are a boy that have a future. So he pointed to a youth center for me and he said that you can beg in this place. Himself, his friend, and 12 their girlfriends gave me the biggest money of my begging career as a child. He gave me 20 naira. His friend gave me 10 naira. The other girlfriend gave me 5 naira in tears. And the other one gave me 1 naira. So I raised 36 naira in 1996, which is still the biggest record of my begging career. So I begged 1993, 94, 95, and 96. So I got into the youth center, and that was when everything changed. It was at the youth center that I discovered about self-esteem. It was at the youth center I discovered about purpose. It was at the youth center I discovered that no matter how bad my background was, I could actually restructure my life by my own making. I learned speech making. I learned acting. I met great people through the project. Professor Adenike Green, she's still very much alive. She was the head of the project at the time. Dorothy Akenova, I'm mentioning names so that you can run a trace on them. These are great women that actually raised me. Looking back at how my life has turned out, because in 2001, I became the UN Ambassador for African Youth and Children, where I had an opportunity of meeting the American president. And for me, the biggest miracle of my life is not how many countries I've been to or the records I've set at the international level when I became the UN Ambassador for African Youth and Children. It's not even the money I have now. The miracle for me is the change of my mindset. Is that switch from a boy who had no hope to someone who became so confident of his future, to someone who was able to build a very sound character because there was a youth center. The youth center helped me to appreciate my grandmother, from whom I learned a lot of stuff about character, and my uncles and my aunt. The youth center helped me to understand the power of family. And today I have one of the strongest families that I've built, and I have good connections with my family members that raised me, doing whatever help I can, in whatever capacity I can. That is actually the miracle. And this could not have happened without the youth center. So in 2001, I saw the collapse of youth centers across the country because corruption was taking over the civil society. And I said to myself that there's going to be a huge calamity. In a speech I made in a dinner of Hope Worldwide in 2002, December 7 precisely, I said, eminent Nigerians were seated. We were to raise funds for children that were affected by HIV/AIDS, whose parents have died, or parents are still living HIV/AIDS, or are vulnerable to HIV and AIDS. And I said that do not take this trying to raise money for these kids as you are helping them. Take it as you are helping yourselves and your children. Because imagine if someone like me was not educated, Imagine if someone like me was not helped by youth center. I would become a terror of the society. I want that we have to intensify grassroots revitalization. I want that we have to reach young people across the country. I want that there would be a lot of calamity in the future, because I was speaking from experience. If there was no youth center, what would Abayomi might have become? And that is why I'm standing today fighting for Nigerians. A lot of my friends who claim they were fighting for the youth are falling by the wayside. Some of the strongest supporters of the failed president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, are people we used to work together to bring development to our dear communities. It is sad to see how times have changed them, and how shall I say, heart desires or whatever they were looking for have changed them into what they are today. Because I can barely recognize these people. I'm standing here today, Nigerians, to tell you that I am not one of those youth that is seeking clout. I am a product of a broken system that had been made strong in character because of a youth center. If there was no youth center, I'm not sure of what I would have become today. So I want you Nigerians to understand clearly that amongst all those voices out there, mine is not for sale. And that's why I'm telling you, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, you are a one-term president. I swear to you by the blood of innocent young people who have been wasted. I swear to you by the innocent lives that have been destroyed by criminals who could not have been criminals if only there had been programs that could rescue them when they were vulnerable children. I swear to you by the lives of wasted smart young people who had died on the streets due to drug abuse, aborted pregnancies, and all kinds of social menace, that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, you are not coming back.
APC government are not scared of P2B. They will not be threatening him. And if they're not scared, do not be cooking up agenda that P2B wants to divide Nigeria, which is a blatant lie. Everybody have seen how P2B wants to unite Nigeria. P2B went, and his vice is a northerner. He wants to unite Nigeria to be one, but APC government are trying to push agenda that P2B wants to divide this country so that they can use it against him. Because they cannot find anything again to use against P2B. P2B is a man that you cannot find anything again to use against. He have told everybody to go and verify when he was governor of Anambra State. Nobody have seen anything. And believe me, EFCC must have searched. DSS must have searched. The army must have searched. APC government must have searched on something to hold against P2B. They found nothing. Now they are going through threats, going through this one, blackmailing, trying to push agenda that is not true. This is the only option that APC government has against P2B. This man is blameless. You can never find this man in a setting of criminality, fraud activities, nothing as such. You only find them in a place of excellence, in a place where you can find good leadership, good governance. That's where you can find P2B. But let me go to the views in the comment, and please don't forget to subscribe. See you guys in my next video.